What's up everybody, I'm Jesse Showalter, and in this episode we're going to be talking about the top 3 psychology principles that every UI and UX designer needs to know about. Yeah, that's right, I want to get inside your head. Psychology plays a huge part into a user's experience with any website or application. And by understanding how a user perceives something or how they interact with things, we can better tweak our designs to make them more effective. So today I'm going to be covering the 3 most important psychological principles in user experience or user interface design. The first principle we're going to talk about today has a really fancy schmancy name, but in the end, it's a very, very simple concept to understand, and you've probably understood it since you were a kid. The Restorff Effect basically states that if there's multiple of the same kind of item, and then there's one unique item, it's most likely to be remembered. Sounds familiar, right? Yeah, because it's basically a fancy way of saying one of these things is not like the other. This is where we get the idea of main call to actions, a button that is an accent color, larger, stands out, and is consistent throughout a design. There's all sorts of ways to use the Restorff Effect in every single design that you do by adding things like contrast or breaking the repetition, jumping outside of a grid. There's just so many ways to do it, but what you're trying to do is draw the eye to an individually unique item and make it stand out from the pack. Next up on the list is probably one of the most popular principles, and it's called Hicks Law. It's a really easy concept to understand. It basically says that the time it takes for a user to make a decision depends on the amount of options that are available to them. So if the number of options increases, so does the time it makes for a user to make a decision. The way that I like to think of this is by picturing that age-old Italian restaurant menu that has 120 items on the menu. It's so hard to make a decision, and every decision has different variations and options. It's much harder to order in that restaurant than it is in a chic bistro with 4 or 5 things on a chalkboard. It's either 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. It's that simple. I'm gonna make that decision much quicker than I am at the Italian food restaurant, and I'm probably gonna be happier because I feel really excited about the decision that I made. All right, last up on the list is the serial position effect, and this is the common way that users tend to remember the first and the last item in any given series. So for example, if I was to list off a series of items that I had inside of a drawer, like keys and paper clips and rubber bands and stamps, you're most likely to remember keys and stamps because they're the first and last thing that you heard, read, or kind of comprehended. This is why most mobile applications will defer to the standard de facto tab bar navigation at the bottom of the screen, putting the most important nav items to the left and right hand side. Number 1 reason is because it's putting it right there within thumb reach at the very bottom of your screen, but number 2, it's because it's using the serial position effect and making sure it puts the most important things in your memory and within reach. Well, that's it. Those are the top 3 psychology principles to be used inside of your next design to make them more effective. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, leave a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. I do lots of videos about design and development and UX, just like this one, so maybe stick around. If you have any questions, leave them down in the comments. I hope you guys are having an amazing week designing amazing things, making amazing things, and thinking of the user first. I'll see you in the next one.